Hello everybody, and this is the second video for the project. Hopefully you've seen the first video about the data that we have and we'll be using this project. This is a continuation of that video. If you haven't seen the video, please go watch that. And in between the first video and the second video, hopefully you have or will spend time looking at the different layers and projections and aerial photographs and data sets that are available on Blackboard for you to use. In this video, we'll be continuing on the same work. We're using the already georeferenced map from 2009, which I ended the video with here. And I'm going to georeference an aerial photograph, one of the four aerial photographs. Now, why do we need to georeference these aerial photographs? Because in ArcGIS, what they do is the world is basically round, let's say like an orange, and we peel off the peel of the orange and try to flatten it onto a two-dimensional space. Of course, that's impossible. You can't do that correctly. So we have these models, which ArcMap is one of the things that can use these models to project this three-dimensional space into two dimensions, and these are called projections. This layer, if you remember seeing the video, is in the RD new. If you go to Properties, if you look under Source, go under Raster Information, because this is a raster image. The Spatial Reference is right here, so it's the RD new projection. Yeah, and it tells you exactly where the X and Y coordinate is for this projection and the scale. So this 2009 TIFF has already been georeferenced, and we need that to then that's as our reference to the non-georeferenced aerial photographs. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this name because I don't like this name at all. I'll call it something else. Let's call it Georeferenced Map 2009. It just makes it a lot easier. Sometimes you have several things in a row, and if you have, really weird names, it can confuse you. So the next thing we need to do is we need to open the non-georeferenced aerial photograph. Do that by clicking on Add Data. Choose the one that you're going to do. I'm going to use the 1955 one. It's actually the most difficult one, I believe, in my opinion. And if I can do with this one, then you can do all the other ones too. They're a little bit easier. The further back you go in time, the more things change. Yeah, so let's do that. Okay. Now we have the 1955 TIFF. You actually don't see it, do you? No, it's not. It's not in the same projection. It doesn't even have a projection. So if you want to, you can zoom to there. Go to Zoom to Layer, and as you see, actually, ooh, it was there. It was just, the computer didn't know how to show it, so it just kind of boom, dropped it there in the middle of a field, and obviously that's incorrect. It should be about this area, yeah, about this big. So that's what we're going to do now. The next step is to open the Georeferencing toolbar. In ArcGIS 10, that is under the Customize button, then Toolbars, and then Georeferencing. You'll need that for sure. The next step is, now that we are georeferencing on the Georeferencing toolbar, we want to select the correct layer that we'll be georeferencing. So we'll be georeferencing the 1955 one. That's the one we want to georeference, not the 2009. That one's already georeferenced. You see a couple other buttons. We'll be using this one to add the control points. We'll be using this one, a viewer, and I always like to check once in a while the link table. Right now, there's a link table from my previous session. I'm just going to delete all of them. If you've never done this before, that table should be empty. You can always check that. Okay, I like to open the viewer. Now we have something to work with. We have like a palette to work with. On here we have the one we're going to georeference to, and here we have the one we're going to georeference from. Yeah, and now you have two windows you can play around with a little bit. I've done this a few times, so I have a couple favorite places. What you want to do is to look at crossroads, fields, buildings that are the same in the one as the other. I know that you could, for example, there's a restaurant, which is here, and I also like to use these fields because they're very clear-cut areas. And there's, for example, roads and buildings here, which also exist down there. So let's go ahead and do that. Always zoom in as much as possible. So I'm zooming in. First, you go to the place. Sorry, I've clicked this already. So make sure you've selected this. Zoom in as much as possible down to the single pixel. I'll choose this pixel. And now I'll move over to this one. And it is right about here. I'll zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. You see it? That's it. I'll choose this pixel. And now it's actually jumped quite a bit. It's in the way. We'll fix that soon. I'll make that disappear. So that's control point 1. Now let's go to control point 2. Now this is a little annoying. This happens sometimes. Let's rotate it. A second. I'm not sure how this link table, how this happened. I'm going to do it all over again. That shouldn't have happened. You gotta love computers. I think I accidentally clicked somewhere. Don't worry, if anything goes wrong, it happens all the time. Just go to the table. You can always delete mistakes that you made. I'm actually glad that happened. Now I can show you how to correct mistakes. Okay. Let's see. What is this? So zoom in again. In the same area here. Click. Aha. Now it looks good. This one is linked to there. And if I open it, it should also be there. Oh, see, now it knows the exact location where the one is to the other. That's great, but it doesn't know the distances. So it doesn't know that the scales are about the same. It thinks that the one scale is much bigger than the other scale. So that's fine. That's why we have we need at least 2 or 3 control points. So now let's zoom in. I like this one. This road's also very clear road. Just click here. The 2 roads meet. And then over here, let's a little bit to the right. Zoom out a bit. There it is. That's the one we want. And zoom in a bit. And voila. Now you'll see the scales, the distances are about the same now. Yeah, from the one to the other, which is what we want. Definitely what we want. Yeah, and it's not too bad. You see that lining up here, it lines up here, but you want to have 3 points, and you want to have one that's further down here. So let's see where we can get I like this point here. It's where 2 roads come together. If you were in the field work, this is the place where we had lunch. We rented the bicycles. It's right there. Turn it off. Open the viewer again. Here's the viewer. It takes a little bit of patience, this. There it is. That's where we want to really zoom in on. I lost it. Oh, there it is. Zooming in. Okay. So we'll do the first one there. Left click, go to here. Again, you see it's slightly off. Let's zoom in here. All right. That I think will definitely be good. Let's take a look. Look at that. Beautiful. Zoom to layer. We now have a georeferenced map. And it really aligns quite well. I'm pleased with this. You see this road from the one map goes directly over into the aerial photograph. This road, it looks like it doesn't match up, but actually it goes boing, it jumps a bit there. So actually this lines up also very well. The Dooney area is good. I'm pleased. Maybe a little bit of the little bit off here, but for the time being, this is okay. If I were doing this, if this were my project, I'd probably do it over again, take more time. The more time you take, you zoom in really well at the pixels, find some really good some reference points from one to the other, and you're finished. And once you've done this, now you have a georeferenced aerial photograph that you can use for all of the maps you need in the future. For you guys in your project, you'll want to do at least 3, if not all 4 of the aerial photographs. Do them this way. There is another way of georeferencing. I'll make a video on that. That's using um, data points that you have, XY data points. If you go into the field and take them, you can do that. But this should be fine for our purposes. Like I said, take your time. And all the problems can be corrected always. And before you know it, you're going to be an expert on georeferencing. Thank you for watching. We'll continue the next one. I'm going to show the second way of georeferencing using the points, and good luck. Have fun.